Let's go. Welcome to this Friday live session with one of your hosts, Riley, the amazing advisor. And it's Friday, so it's not the random day of the week. Friday is the special day. It's the day where the samurai teams up with the Ronin. And what's happening? There you go. Sorry. It's the day where the samurai teams up with the Ronin, but not any kind of Ronin. We team up with the marketing Ronin, the French Ronin, the Ronin of Justin Justice. Happy to welcome you, my pal.
Happy to be here, Riley. Thanks for having me. Happy Friday, man. Yeah,
Love it,
it's
love it. This is
another
gonna
good week here.
this is gonna be hot. Just confirm me. Do you get any echo? I'm using my podcast, but I want to make sure.
No, you're good.
You're good? Okay, so last time, I don't know what happened. Okay, we cool. So let's get started. People are just joining this live session. I think they were waiting for us. It's been a while. Last week I was traveling crazy, San Francisco and stuff like that. It was really hard for me to pull it out. I was doing customer engagement with a big tech company. And I couldn't just say, hey guys, I need to pause the workshop because I have a life to do. but but here we're back. So thank you. I appreciate everyone's patience. And you know what? Let's just get started. Justin, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, well, I've prepared a little. Oh, I am getting an echo now. I don't know
Ah,
what's going on, but I did prepare a little something, so maybe I could share my screen. I just have one slide to go over. I think it'll be really valuable for people. And yeah, we're all about offering value here, guys. So please like and repost the space, whether you're on X or also on LinkedIn. We'd really appreciate it. Ask your questions. Riley and I will be able to see them in the comments section. And anything sales, marketing related, brand building, startup. You got the startup advisor here. Riley's got the scars, the battle wounds to to help you avoid the mistakes, right? We all want to do a lot of things, but it's stop doing things that aren't working and really redirecting that to what I've been calling lately accurately aligned actions, right? Accurately aligned actions. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get this started. I really appreciate Riley inviting me and yeah, let's see what we got here. All right.
let's go. In the meantime, guys, if you have any questions or comments, if you have questions with your business, we will do our best to give you the answer. So hit the comments, write your question, tell us about your business situation, because this is a live consultation. You're getting two people with experience on marketing right here and on startup and product building right here. So use that time. Use that time. Justin, whatever you wanna hit that share, let me know. I'm just gonna rumble here and there. Uh, in the meantime, let's have a look at some of the comments that we have so far, some of the questions. Yes, yesterday, a couple of folks asked me how to get my first customers, how to get my first 100 customers. Tomorrow, I'll cover all these things, but today, I really want to leave the floor to Justin. Let me put it this way so people can probably better see this. Yeah. Justin, whatever you want to kick in. You
Okay,
go.
perfect. Yeah. So thanks, Riley. So let me just go ahead and jump into it, guys. So I'm constantly asked, one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, hey, Justin, why isn't my marketing working? And there's a direct correlation to if your marketing is working, you're bringing in more revenue. But one pro tip I'll share is you can have 1,000 leads. Let's say you can have 100 leads, but if you can't close those deals, you have a problem, right? If that's not driving revenue, you have a problem and you have room for improvement. Now, having 100 leads, let me just back up for a second. So, marketing is getting the horse to water, and sales is getting the horse to drink water. Now, if you have an issue with the word sales, then just reframe it to serve because some people they have a hard time with sales. Okay, I get it. Everyone's different. But you really need to reframe it into I'm serving people. I'm serving people with my value. I'm serving people with my offers. I'm serving people with my products and services. My new shiny AI tool, this is going to serve people. It's going to save them money, save them time, and increase their productivity and ideally their revenue. Your solution has to be fitting into one of those buckets. So what should your marketing be focusing on? Well, it should be really, and this is critical here, it should be the right person with the right message at the right timing with the right tactic on the right platform with the right offer. When you have all those things in alignment, great things happen. Magic happens. Okay, magic happens because again, you're trying to focus on getting to those 3% of people who have that pain point and or that problem that you're solving, and it's resonating with you, the message is resonating with them, and they're saying, wow, that's really me. They're raising their hand and they're saying, wow, Riley's messaging is really speaking to me. I'm struggling. I need a startup advisor. I need to save a year worth of pain and really accelerate my uh, success in 90 days or less. That's why I'm going to sign up with Riley. Okay. So again, right person with the right message, the right timing, the right tactic on the right platform with the right offer. And once you have all those things in alignment, again, great things happen. And here's a use case for you. Here's a use case. So I recently got a inbound lead, which for those of you in marketing, anytime you get an inbound lead, you have to jump on that very quickly. This is very hot, okay? And we call that speed to lead. You want to jump on this within the first 5 minutes. Why? Because there's a higher likelihood, there's an 80% chance that you're more likely to close that deal if you act quicker. If you wait 24 hours to 48 hours, there's a higher likelihood, there's a less likely chance that you will close that deal. So speed to lead, 5-minute rule. And they reached out to me and they saw one of my AI videos. I've been doing some AI avatar videos. I've cloned myself and this is getting attention. And they messaged me and they said, hey, I'm interested in doing some short form videos. Can you help out with that? Yes, absolutely. So we jump on a discovery call. And then the short term videos actually turned into a wider scope of work, which includes fractional CRO advisory. It includes data analytics. It includes content. It includes paid ads, etc. So there's going to be a breadth of services that we're going to offer on top of what the initial interest was, which was again short form video. So, and again, this came in on Facebook, and I'm not really that active on Facebook, but that's their preferred medium. So another pro tip that I like to share is don't try to take people away from their preferred medium. If they're texting you, text back. If they're calling you, call back. If they're messaging you on Instagram, message them on Instagram. If they're messaging you on X, communicate with them in X. So whatever that preferred medium is that they're using, that's what you want to cater to and make it very seamless. So yeah, this is all I wanted to share, kind of high level here, but I think it's really foundational information. And I'm happy to expand on anything or give some additional clarity for anyone that has any questions, including you, Riley.
I love it. I love it. I I structured the scene so that you were on the main stage, so you'll be able to clip this and just put it as a standalone video, because that was definitely a masterclass. I love this. I love this. Um, Let me sort of rebound a little bit on what you just said, and again, I like to tune it to my audience, SaaS startup, tech builders. Um, how can they get the right message? Because it's often at this level that they're losing most of the momentum. They're pushing messages out there. I see Reddit posts every day. I receive messages every day. They're like, "Hey, I've been doing the create 100 pieces of content a month, but I getting zero out of it." I'm like, you either don't know who you're talking to, or you just don't delivering the right message. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd say the short answer is you really have to experiment more with your messaging to see what's gaining traction, and it's a lot of experimentation. But typically it's really, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And really, people may not remember what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So you have to ask yourself a question like, is my marketing moving people? Right? Is it moving people? Are people feeling an emotional connection to my content? And if it's very challenging to do this, but this is why storytelling works very well. This is why, bringing up a big problem that you're seeing and a pain point that a lot of SaaS founders have, and then you're elevating that and gaining more visibility to that problem and pain point in your messaging. And so, you really have to, and here's one use case for this, right? So I was talking to a gentleman on Spaces, and he was saying, I have this idea, this is the traction I'm getting. And I said, well, you need to really lean in on the problem and pain point of people and companies that have this major problem, which is token usage. They don't have a clear dashboard of their token usage from all their LLMs. Okay, this is a big problem. This is a very big problem. So if you can help solve that problem for people, and I gave him that guidance, and he was like, yeah, that's spot on. Because again, this is a big problem, right? And we've seen it based on the conversations that are happening on Reddit and X and LinkedIn, is all of a sudden their monthly usage on AI token utilization is like, $500. And then all of a sudden it jumps up to $5,000. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't have any, I didn't have any guardrails on this. And now your bill jumps, 1,000%. So, that's just one use case. But again, what are the problems and pain points that people are discussing and talking about, and then seeing how your solution can provide remedy to that. Again, people are out there selling vitamins, but we really have to get to the core and the heart of the problem and the pain point. And that's where, SaaS founders can really, again, listening. People want to talk, right? This is another thing about social media I love, and I've been doing social media marketing and building communities since 2009, 2010. This is before paid ads on Facebook, by the way. So organically, I've built fan pages to over 100,000 fans for brands back in the day. Zero ad budget, because I couldn't spend on ads, right? I had to do this all manually and organically. Okay, so just imagine. But the point is, I kind of lost my thought here. So
Right messages, right message, talking
yeah,
to people, get people to talk.
Yeah, absolutely critical. And yeah, just really tapping into those pain points, those challenges, and how you can be the remedy to that, to that with your messaging, and really elevate that's what it's all about.
100% agree. 100% agree. I want to rebound onto that because getting the right message, especially for my folks who are engineers or tech folks, is more mechanical than they think. A lot of them think getting the right message is a form of art. There is a little bit of art into it, but there's a strong part that is purely mechanical. And let me just give you a quick anecdote. Yesterday, I was doing some mentoring with one of my client, and he was telling me he put a content out there and it fell flat. And the feedback he received was there was no flavor into the content, so people were not reacting to it, were not engaging with it. And so I had to look at the content, and it was very flat. It was very basic, as if AI came up with it from a statistically generated keyword stuff. But he actually wrote it himself. He said, "Okay, but how can I do that?" And I said, "Okay, just show me the conversation that you've been having with people." He showed me the conversation, showed me the transcript, and I had to look at a couple of lines. And I said, "Oh, at this minute, that person said that. That is very specific to that person. Why don't you try to take that sentence and make it the focal point of your content and reverse the thing? And I improvised a hook and I improvised like a piece of content using this. And the guy said, "Man, you gave me goosebumps." And I said, "That's the point." Like taking people's words and just like Aikido, you know, that Japanese martial art, taking people's words as their strength and reversing it against them. That is like one of the way to make it work. I have like a tactical way to do that, but honestly, it's what I do with my clients, and probably I'm gonna need a little bit of motivation from Justin because that's the kind of thing I don't want to give away. It's way too good. It's way too powerful. But hey, I'm gonna put it in the drawer in the oven. Maybe I'll put it out one day with you guys and lay it out end to end.
And let me expand on that a little bit too. And I remembered my point from earlier. So people want to talk a lot, right? People want to get onto social media and just talk. Okay. And I appreciate that. But this is where the real power comes in with social media. And it's, again, this is the same playbook from I've been using for 15 plus years, is you need to listen first. Okay. We have 2 ears for a reason,
In one
right?
mouth.
We need to grow bigger ears, right? We really need to listen. And then you can craft the messaging, you can craft the videos, you can craft, and this is why a lot of the experts out there, the pros who are really getting viral videos and really monetizing and building that momentum, is because they're seeing what's trending first, and then they're tapping into that and becoming part of those conversations. This is really a pro tip, and this is how I formulate all my space topics. This is how I formulate, cold outbound, is really paying attention to what conversations are really going on. And a lot of people don't know that, and the technical people in your audience, I'm sure they do know this, is like a lot of the LLMs are fed by Reddit. They're fed by Reddit and the conversations that are already happening. It's helping them provide answers. But again, the content, it's just, there's a lot of information, but there's not necessarily a lot of knowledge and wisdom from actual operators. This is the key difference. Okay, the LLMs will give you a lot of knowledge, or they'll give you a lot of information, but this is where you need to work with operators like Riley and myself, is because we have the wisdom and the knowledge. Big difference. Okay, big difference.
Time out, Justin, because we are about to enter a conversation. I wanted to talk to you, rebounding on something that we started to say at the beginning of the week in one of your spaces, and I need my fire glasses for this topic. I need these fire glasses with this topic. At the beginning, so quick context, if you missed, was it Monday or Tuesday spaces that you did? We dropped a fire bomb comment. You made a post out of it on your social media. That notion of skin in the game in AI. And we gravitating around it. So I just said, let's just get into that. Let's just get into that.
Let's do
So
it.
AI has no skin in the game. So the floor is yours. I have my fire glasses. Get your shades. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah. So, and it was, you were there, and I really, excuse me, I really built on what you had inspired as well, Riley. So I like to give credit where credit's due. Always a pro tip for everyone is give credit where credit's due. That's number one. Number two is, yeah, the LLMs, they don't have any skin in the game. They have nothing on the line. So you just have to know that and proceed accordingly. So ultimately, it really comes down to, what is your zone of genius and things that you really have expertise in, and then you have to put those guardrails on the LLMs. Everyone is, you got to really train the LLMs on your knowledge base, and really feed it information about who you are, what your zone of genius is, your expertise, and then your outputs will be that much better. But it still does miss things. Like I've literally caught this happening live, where it really missed a big strategic call out that it didn't catch, and I had to call it out. I'm like, hey, you missed this, Claude. And they're like, and Claude's like, oh yeah, sorry about that, Justin. Like, and again, this was a big miss. This was a big miss. And if I didn't have the knowledge or the wisdom, and I would have proceeded down the path, that could have been problematic with that output. So just make sure you're consulting your LLMs, but then you're also double checking and triple checking with a mentor, with a coach, and make sure it's in alignment and it checks out, right? It's got to pass the sniff test, right? We call that the sniff test. Does this really pass the sniff test? And in all honesty, I've signed up for a lot of things over the years, a lot. And my clients have signed up for a lot of things years. And 80% of the things that I've signed up for and my clients don't really exactly perform to what was promised. That's just a reality. So, navigating that is make sure that what you say you can back up. Make sure the things that you're, marketing out there and your messaging, make sure you can back it up with proof points, with social proof, and with your track record. It's really important. You don't want to have a credibility issue. And the formula for this is really visibility plus credibility equals profitability. There's a lot of credible people out there, but they just don't have the visibility, which is why now it's a requirement. It's table stakes to make sure that you're putting out content that's part of the conversation and what people care about, what they're interested in, and just ride the wave of momentum. Ride that wave. Tap into the conversations that already have velocity, already have momentum, and that will give you a head start. And nothing's guaranteed, right? Again, you don't want to fall into the situation where you have a viral video go viral and then you capture like 0 emails or 0 revenue. And that happens more than not. It happens a lot. So the mindset is you want to have a progression, right? You want to have, you want to be capturing emails, you want to be driving revenue, and everyone's at different stages of the journey, and you just have to meet them where they're at. That's what it's all about, meeting people where they're at based on their current situation. So yeah, that's why I highly encourage, founders who are still struggling, work with Riley. He's a master. He's been doing this. He has the battle scars. He has the track record. And yeah, I've seen a lot of his, he's been sharing a lot in spaces over the last year about some of his students and the success that they've had. So make sure you guys get on Riley's calendar and have a call with him to see if you're a good fit. But make no mistake about it, like you got to do some work. You got to do some work. If you're gonna, be a founder of a SaaS and you just think that, hey, I built this, I'm entitled to users. I'm entitled to paid users. That is a losing mentality. Okay, that is a losing mentality. Okay, your mentality has to switch and say, hey, look, I'm a builder. I'm going to build it, but I'm also going to talk about it. And ideally, I'm not going to build it until it's been validated. And we had a great friend on today's space, Jim, the Lazy Canadian, great brand. And he was sharing with us his exact playbook that he's doing 30,000 a month now in his paid community. But he's been posting 5 to 10 videos a day for over 2 years. And then he's funneled them into his email newsletter. And then he's done webinars for free. And then he offers a monthly membership community. And he's got over 300 members paying him like $50 a month. So 30,000 a month. So yeah, is it possible? Absolutely. Is it challenging? Yes. But the alternative is just staying stagnant and not doing anything. And that's not going to work either. So, choose your battles, right? Choose your battles. I only take on clients. Oh, go ahead.
Actually, I have a different saying come from one of my mentor. He always like taught me not to choose your battles, but choose your victories. Pick your victories, not your battles.
Yeah, I love that. And I was gonna say, choose your battles, but I only take on battles that I can win.
So you and see so
Yeah.
you're picking your victories, not your battles. Exactly.
This is the way of the Ronin, and call it what you will, but I only take on clients. I only launch campaigns that I know that has a high likelihood of winning, and that just comes with experience, right? Because I've launched over personally 1,000 campaigns. I've run over 1,000 paid ads, Google, Facebook ads, you name it,
Mm,
and majority of them have, they haven't failed. It's just I learned what didn't work.
mm,
So now that I have that expertise, now I can launch a campaign and I can basically cover all my bases, and I can say, hey, there's a high likelihood that this will succeed, and here's why. Because I'm following my system and I'm following my playbook, and then I'm executing it. And at the end of the day, it's all testing. It's all testing. What worked 3 months ago, it may not work today. It may not work today. This has happened quite often, more than not. Is I have a really great, I was running some Facebook ads for a biotech startup, veterinarians, and I helped generate over 30,000 leads for me and the marketing team.
wow.
30,000 leads for veterinarians for it was a early cancer detection test for dogs via blood draw. So the veterinarian would draw the blood, send it into our lab. We'd run bioinformatics, and we'd be able to detect up to 30 cancers before clinical signs. It was a very novel, brilliant concept, and we were able to generate 30,000 leads. And how we did it was webinars, direct mail, email, and Facebook ads. Because Facebook ads, it has differences between Google ads. Because Facebook ads, you can target specific job titles, just like LinkedIn. So we targeted veterinarians, and our cost per lead was very affordable, and yeah, it was a great success. Unfortunately, the startup didn't get enough uh, product to market fit, and we didn't have enough velocity in a quickest amount of time. Like, our test utilization numbers weren't what they needed to be. So unfortunately, the company went under, and that's the reality. These things happen in startup life, right? Companies go under. That's just a reality. And we're going to see it more and more, especially with all these, AI companies, which is why it brings us back to the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? Acquire customers, retain customers, and focus on sustainable growth. Let me repeat that. Acquire customers, retain customers, and focus on sustainable growth. That's the playbook. That's the exact model. And again, paying customers, paying customers is what it's all about. I mean, you can have 100 users, 1,000 users that aren't paying you, and you better quickly validate and get some. Even if it's just $5 or $1, is better than zero in my book, right? If you can get 1,000 people paying you $1, that's $1,000 a month. Those are great numbers. Again, paying users versus non-paying users, and that's the playbook, guys. I got nothing else for you. So that's all the secrets. That's the secret sauce. And moves and counter moves. This is the last point I'll make. Moves and counter moves. So this applies to uh, competitive forces, but also when you're prospecting with prospects, is it's really a tennis match with the prospect, right? You're going back and forth, back and forth. So you want to see, what move do they make? Then this is how I respond. If this, then that. And you want to really get comfortable in that fluidity and in that environment where it's very improv. It's very, but of course you can have your bullet points, you can have your script, but at the end of the day, that disappears and you're having a conversation, right? You're having a conversation with the prospect, identifying their needs, their pain points. And look, Riley is not for everyone, and that's okay. And I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And your tool is not for everyone, but you just need to make sure that you're finding and going through a lot of no's to get to that one yes. And then once you have that yes and that paying customer for your tool, for your product or service, just continue building that momentum, and it'll expand from there. And it's a long game. Okay, I've been doing this for over 25 years. Okay, and it's a long game. And one thing working in corporate taught me is ultimately, especially now, it's like we got to build our own thing, right? You never know. The unfortunate reality is you could get laid off. That's the unfortunate reality. If you work in corporate, you could get laid off now, more so now than ever. So yeah, go for it, Riley.
I actually want to share. I want to share an anecdote around this idea that you can get laid off. Um, the worst part of this era that we're living now is that you could get laid off if you're doing a great job. And here's the anecdote. I had a person who reached out to me because like they wanted to book me for 30 minutes. So got in the call and they said, "Hey, I just got laid off." I was like, "Yeah, I heard that a lot." He said, "No, no, no. But hear my story. I was working at a company and I was a project manager and I automated 80% of my job for efficiency and reactivity. And I showed that to everyone in my team so that they could do the same and we could create value faster." His manager looked at it and he said, "Okay, you've created this entire structure, this entire system that does 80% of your job. Okay, thank you so much. You can leave. We'll find a way to make the extra 20%."
Wow, that's gotta sting. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great point you bring up. I want to expand on that for a second, and I'm going to go a little longer today because this is a really good conversation. So
So
I'm going to.
imagine you can get laid off because you're not efficient, but you can also not get laid off because you're too efficient.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the reality is like you're just a number on a spreadsheet at the end of the day, and whether you accept that or not, I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, this is just another example that you can be a high performer, you can be delivering massive value, you can be coming in early, staying late like I was, okay, doing everything you can, and still you can get laid off. So this is why we need personal brands, we need email lists, and we need to build our own thing on the side, a side hustle or go all in on yourself and your own business. And it's challenging. I mean, I've seen people on LinkedIn, I was reading it this morning, like some guys and gals have been looking for work for over 2 years. And fortunately, some people in my close network, they're coming to the realization that they need to do their own thing and they're getting clients. They're landing, projects. They're landing. And here's a pro tip for anyone that's, still looking for that next role or in with a potential customer is do a pilot program. Do a pilot program. Use the terminology pilot program. Why? Because this shows them and demonstrates your expertise. Hey, look what I was able to do for my previous employer. Let me do the same thing for you in a pilot program, 90 days. And why 90 days? Because 30 days is not long enough. I can't run a Google Ads campaign for 30 days.
Yeah.
The first 30 days is I'm learning with the data. Like I got to learn with data. If they don't have any data, well, I can't make any recommendations or decisions without data. And so do a pilot program, demonstrate your expertise, and then they'll actually give you more stuff to do after that. Because I guarantee you, because this has never happened where it's like I've gotten in with one client and I with one thing, and then I only do that one thing. It usually what happens is they're like, okay, well, what else can Justin and his team do? Okay, well, what else can they do? And then it's 2 days a week turns into 3 days, turns into 4 days a week, and then you have they're tapping out because they're we're at capacity, and you're hiring more team members. That's what happens when you get in with the 90-day programs with one thing, one solution, one pain point, one offer, one transformation, one outcome, 90 days, and then the scope expands from there. And don't overbuild, because I know a lot of builders do this, is they overbuild, they over engineer. I can't stress this point enough, man. I've walked into environments where it's like, man, your sales force is dialed in like you're a Fortune 1000 company. You're like, you're doing 5-10 million a year. You're not doing 500 million a year. Like, why is this set up in a way where it's over engineered and it's so complicated that you have to have a PhD to figure out what's happening here? And so don't over engineer things. Keep it simple, because simple is usable and complicated is very interesting.
Absolutely. And the rule is, if you have over engineered a system, then your next logical step is to simplify it. It's like I have this, I love this example from SpaceX rocket engine. Like there's a three picture and it's three evolution of the engine. The first one is complex with pipes everywhere and stuff like that. Then the second one is a bit more simpler, and the final one looks like a piece of art. It's like it's the minimum amount of things to make it work. And so, yeah, the first time it's okay because you're sort of bootstrapping it, but then make your business as simpler as possible, because this is how you build anti fragility, right? Because fixing something that is complex is a pain in the ass. My team and I were paid $1 million for 3 months to fly all across America and just to have a look at a company, spend 12 hours a day identifying systems and mapping it out to understand what was happening and where were people stuck, and they were losing ton of money for that. So yeah, complexity makes you look smart at a fancy dinner, but is not sustainable in a business.
Yeah. I want to highlight the point that you made about assessing and auditing where someone's at. So I've always had this consultant mindset, just because that's just even when I was an employee, I was had my consultant hat on, and you want to have that mindset where you're always assessing like where a company's at technically, because we're talking to SaaS founders here, so you want to put on that consultant hat and really assess, hey, where are they currently at with their current systems, their martech stack, and their processes. And it's always people, process, systems in this order. Okay, I can't stress this enough. It's always people, process, systems in that order. Don't get the order wrong, because when you start with the tech or the systems, that's going to get you into hot water. Because here's what happens: use case. You start with the tech, and then that subject matter expert leaves. And then guess what? You're stuck with a Ferrari, and you only
Nobody
know
has
how
the
to,
keys.
and yeah. Or yeah, nobody has the keys. Even worse than only driving it in first gear. You can't even turn it on. That's a good one, Riley. Please clip that. Please clip that. That was brilliant.
Clip
Yeah,
that.
you can't even drive the Ferrari because you don't even know where the keys are. Yeah, so I see this more often than not. This is why I always start with people, like who's on the team first, right? And then we identify any gaps, and sometimes it's a skill gap, or a coaching gap, which we can manage that, right? If somebody has a positive attitude and they're sharp, they just need to get redirected in the right direction. They can learn, uh, hire for attitude and train for skill. Hire for attitude, train for skill. And again, people, process. And this is where the next thing comes in, right? I can't drop in an inbound lead generation system and automate that until I know the processes, right? Who's handling what? How are things routed? How are calls routed? What's the call to action? Are we getting the phone to ring? Are we getting leads? Are they coming in via email, or is it an AI bot? Are we doing voice caller, or you know what I mean? This is the way my brain works. I go through my methodical approach in the processes, because I can drop in any type of solution, but if they don't have the people or the processes in place, it's not going to work. So this is why, again, people, process, and systems in that order. And now with AI, a good opportunity for the SaaS founders out there, which are more savvy than me, is an AI first business model. Every single company should be thinking about, hey, how can I become an AI first business, an AI led business? Because I'm almost certain that every single business has things that they can automate or semi-automate or make simpler in their workflows and their processes, but it just takes the right person with the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to identify that and then come up with the solution. And your audience here with SaaS founders, like that's their skill set. That's their jam. So so yeah, I got to get running in about 3 minutes here, but yeah, really enjoying this conversation. We got a lot of great content here that we can repurpose into short clips. And I'm gonna make a prediction here now. This is gonna be exciting. So
Whoa, 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 whoa. Prediction. I need my black belt glasses for a prediction. Like, okay, hit me up, hit me up.
there we go. So the prediction is we're gonna start to see these Riley and Justin shows out there from these Friday sessions, and a lot of people are gonna start paying attention to the wisdom that we're dropping relating to startup advisorship, sales and marketing mastery. These two Ronins coming together every Friday to deliver massive value, and Riley's community is going to grow. The Revenue Ronin community is going to grow, and people will be having real impact. They'll be having real positive impact. They'll be growing their SaaS companies thanks to the knowledge and expertise and wisdom that Riley and I share every single Friday. And Riley does this, Monday through Friday lives, and we do live spaces as well. So stick with us, guys. Stick with us, and sign up with Riley, sign up with me, and I guarantee in 90 days, like, you should see some significant progress and more revenue in your business, because that's what we're tackling at the end of the day. Is we're helping you bring in more revenue. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I had I had one of my clients. I think it's the record in revenue. End of last year and beginning of this year, because it was across the two. He generated in less than 3 months. It was the two first months. He made $18,000 of revenue with a business that was dormant for 8 months. So he paused his business for 8 months. He reopened it, reached out to me because he was recommended by one of my previous clients. He said, "Hey, you work with this guy, you got him crazy revenue. My business was dead for the past 8 months. Do you think we can do something?" 2 months after, he posted two big wins in the school community for a total of $18,000 of revenue. 2 months.
Wow. That's true transformation right there. And after being dormant of 8 months, and it just goes to show, guys, like, if you have the right message at the right time with the right offer on the right medium, magic happens, right?
Exactly.
Amazing things happen because you're working with the amazing startup advisor, Riley himself. So,
Justin,
so
final word in a minute. Where can we find you, and what are the four questions we have to ask ourselves at the end of our lives?
yeah, right now, I'm really pushing people to my Google My Business profile right now. I just launched a local office here, and I have a Google My Business profile. So I'm looking to get reviews, positive reviews. 5 stars are always encouraged, and so that's where you can find me. I'll drop a link to my. Let me pull it up here just to make sure I get it right. The Revenue Ronin Agency office. And now we can get reviews there. So I'm trying to get more reviews because that's good in the eyes of Google, of course. So let me drop that here. Okay. I'm not sure. Try to pull this up on your end, Riley. And maybe it comes up on your
What
end.
is it?
Hopefully it does.
What is it that you're trying to show? The beehive?
No, I put it in the private chat here.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe people can check that out. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. I'll be tapping in every Friday with fellow Ronan Riley here, and just trying to deliver massive value for SaaS founders on the journey. towards growing their revenue, growing their SaaS, acquiring customers, retaining customers. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And you guys can check me out on X. I'm hosting daily spaces Monday through Friday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. Um, and yeah, we'll be here answering your questions. And make sure you join Riley's community uh, of fellow startup advisors. And why would you want to do that? Well, you're going to get access to Riley. You're going to get access to Riley. You're going to get accountability, and you're going to decrease the amount of time it takes you to get results in revenue. If you want to spend a year, like, that's great. You want to do it on your own, no problem. But the reason why you would want to work directly with Riley is because he's going to help accelerate your learnings and key insights so you can really start driving revenue, just like he shared on his previous members case study. So that's what it's all about. And I'll do the same thing for you in the revenue Ronin community. We've had over 48 people sign up, which I'm very humbled by. 48 fellow Ronins, all on the journey towards sales and marketing mastery, bringing in more revenue and building their legacy. And yeah, at the end of our lives, we'll just ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top. And if you want to keep growing, check out the Revenue Running community. Prices are going up this summer, so lock in now in these low affordable rates. And do yourself a favor, invest in yourself. Invest in Riley, invest in the Revenue Running community, and you will see transformation. Just ask many of the members that we've had sign up. And yeah, thanks for having me on, Riley. You guys are in great hands with Riley for the rest of the show, and we'll see you back here on next Friday. All right? Much love.
Boom. Appreciate you, Justin. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing that knowledge and value every single Friday live. This is a live exercise. We're not reading teleprompters or papers or stuff. We just answering out the best of our experience. Thank you so much, Justin. I know you have a business meeting in 10 minutes, so I don't want to hold you. Have a great weekend. See you next Friday and see you on the spaces.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley. Much love, brother. We'll see you on the next one. All right,
Love
guys.
it. Take care. Take care. All right, all right, all right. Honestly, with a session like this, there's not much to add, but I want to tease you tomorrow's session. Let me tease you tomorrow's session because tomorrow I'm gonna do something a bit special. I'm gonna go full masterclass and answer some of the most common questions I get all the time in my consulting calls. And I'm going to just tease you a little bit what those questions are. So let me share my screen here. Boom. So these are some of the questions I'm going to answer live tomorrow. And we're going to do it with the tablet, the whiteboarding and everything. Question number 1, what's the fastest way to validate my idea? If my idea solves a real problem or not? What's the most common mistake founders make that ends up killing their startup? When should I start charging and how do I figure out pricing without scaring people away? And finally, what is the best way to get my first 100 users? So tomorrow, live, 11:30 EST, New York time, with me, Riley, the startup advisor. We'll answer all these questions and I'll make sure you get the full whiteboard lecture and everything so you can get the value out of this. And we are also gonna roast a couple of pitch or landing pages and review landing pages. So make sure if you're watching this now and you want me to have a look at your business, your product, your landing page, when I start the show, make sure to send this to me via DM or tag me on a post or whatever. And tomorrow is going to be a big, big, big value day. So stay tuned, focus, subscribe, comment, all that thing. You know the drill. And in the meantime, see you on the next one. Boom.